Yep, you saw it right. No day trading, no cryptocurrency, no drop shipping. There's honestly no easy money. So I currently make about around 3,800 a month. And this is only my first month back home, so I'm expected to make more during next month. But my base could vary from $3,500 to $4,000 plus, depending on how many hours I work and also how many clients I get. So these are my main streams of income, and they're broken down by how much money I make. So obviously, first, a lot of my money has generated from, of course, tennis coaching. So I have different ways of making money from tennis coaching. So I have, of course, my own private clients, my one-on-ones, and then I have my own business. Then I am working also at a tennis club. So for my one-on-ones, it's essentially like 1 hour a week for each client that wants one per week. It's usually just 1 hour a week. But of course, I have multiple private clients, so it does stack up. And then I have my own group. So group is part of my business, and I am hosting kind of a summer group program where they do physical conditioning and also just tennis training, as well as they're preparing either for the school team or just want to practice more. Next is I am working at a tennis club. I only work there for about 6 hours a week, but it's not the most amount of money. Actually, what comes second before that is I'm a digital marketer for a startup company. I do make more money as a digital marketer because I work more hours there than I do at the other tennis club, since I already am coaching a lot. I also have to balance kind of my workload also because I'm also a tennis player. I also am playing and training and also using some of that money to pay for, my own training. So 3,800 is kind of a conservative amount based on if I'm working my minimum hours when I could just be working more. And so let's break it down here. So the number of hours I work per week, so currently I work around 13 to 16 hours just based on group lessons and private clients, not including my tennis club hours, but I'm currently making around 900 a week, but I'm actually getting new clients this weekend, so that would add on to my total hours and also payments. But for now, it is currently about 900 a week, and the rest of it goes to both my tennis club coaching and also my digital marketing job. So this is how I develop a time structure. So during the summer, it is so much easier than when I'm actually at school. So summer is essentially, I just do it based on kind of how many times a week they want it, and also, if it's only once a week, I like to do it on Saturdays. Most of the time, Sundays are my rest days unless, for example, it rains and I have to reschedule. But most of the time it's on Sundays. But for group lessons, I do like to do it either morning or evening just because it's less hot for my clients and it's easier for me anyway. And afternoons are basically where, yes, it's hot, but that's where I like to train and also do my physical conditioning that time as well. However, during school, it was definitely very tough because as, a student athlete, I have matches almost every weekend. However, luckily there are 1 or 2 days where I could spare. For example, if there's a game on Sunday, sometimes there isn't a game on Saturday, but there are also a lot of times where it's very back to back. However, there are times where I actually sacrifice a lot of time. During the fall season, it's where there's a lot less matches. So I would literally, just to keep relations with my clients, I would commute 2 hours to go back home to teach and go back the same day, 2 hours again. So it's literally a 4-hour commute just to teach and coach. Because it's important to keep your relations, because when I go off to college, they could always find another coach. They could always do something else. But I want to keep that relation, so I make sure that I put my time and my effort and commitment to them and to always constantly update them on my schedules and when I am free. And so that's how you kind of have to keep your client relation. You always have to consistently talk to them and update them. And, obviously make them feel important that, you're sacrificing your time to come back to teach. When I first started, I charged really, really low. I was charging, again, $40 an hour, $30, $40 an hour. Although I was charging below the market value of essentially $100 plus, I didn't feel comfortable with my experience, and I wanted to make sure that parents knew that I was still learning and still growing and teaching. So I priced very low because I was inexperienced. And for now, my strategy is I simply just go out to person, I state, of course, my rate, but then I give them kind of a package deal. Because the thing is, you can't improve drastically in one class of tennis. That is impossible. If that was possible, everybody would be number one in the world right now. But what I did is I did a package deal. So essentially X amount of classes at a discounted rate, because I wanted the parents to see how far their kid could grow. However, they could always choose, to do one class if they just want to try out. So again, it's kind of creating a strategy and seeing what works. Honestly, is this the easiest job in the world? No. It's kind of brutal because, again, tennis is very technique based, and you have to have a good eye. You also have to understand your student. You also understand your student's needs, and kind of like what they want as an end goal. If they're just casual, then you keep it casual. However, if they do want to go into competitive, you have to create a lesson plan for them to go that route. And also, standing outside during the summer, yes, it doesn't sound bad, but when you're standing for like 5-6 hours at a time, and then right after you coach, you have to go train, and so you're basically outside on the court 24/7. At the end of the day, yes, it can be tiring, but I do love it. And because I have that passion, I'm willing to sacrifice a lot of my energy and time into that. So this is my advice for those who are just starting out and trying to see kind of like get a job and make money as a student, even as a young adult or adult. This applies to everyone, but find what you're good at and take the chance. You don't know what you're not good at and what you're good at until you practice, until you try, and never say no to opportunities that are coming your way. When I was a freshman back in high school, I did not think of coaching at all. I was what, like 15, 16? I did not think of like, oh, I'm gonna be a college coach when I'm in college. Like, I didn't even think of tennis in my head. Like, I didn't think of being a college athlete. And so don't ever say no until you try it. Take a bunch of opportunities and, start building up a portfolio and building a very good, solid kind of resume. Like, even if you don't have experience, if you practice and you show people what you can do, why is it so important is because if you just start, the worst that could happen is people say no to you. But if you do find that one person that will accept and, try and see where you can take them, that is a huge opportunity. So you just have to keep trying, like no matter how many no's you get. You should market yourself not as you begging them to be your customer, but market yourself as someone needs. Not because you want them, but because you have a special skill that nobody else has that they want from you. You have to differentiate yourself. So my final words to you is just start. Whether it's tutoring someone, whether it's teaching someone a sport, whether it's just volunteering and seeing if you like doing something. Find where your passion lies. And if you keep going, eventually it will build up. I didn't start making $3,000 a month. I started coaching for several years until I started generating this amount of revenue because I have a good base of clients now. When I first started, I only had a couple, 2 or 3, and I was charging like $40 an hour. I was not making anywhere near to what I'm making now. So what I'm saying is, there's no easy money. Everything takes time. Eventually it will grow into something that you like. If you have any questions or if anyone has any advice for anyone, please comment down below. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribing is always free and it always helps out the channel. We're almost at 200 subscribers. Let's go hit that goal right now. Love you all and see you next time.